Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Planet X, the cause behind low pressure weather systems. Now, in Article 4A3 entitled Planet X Creating Purple Skies in the UK, I wrote about the fact that a BBC weather announcer had associated the phenomenon of pink and purple skies observed over the UK at sunrise on December 6, 2018 with approaching low-pressure weather systems. The color in the sky, as I detailed in the article, can only be due to Planet X dust entering the atmosphere. This dust is part of the debris field surrounding Planet X system's stellar cores. So if there is dust, it is likely that there is an actual planetary or moon core in the vicinity. And here are some of the pink skies that were created over the UK on December 6th. And here you see one of the objects moving in towards the sun, a Planet X system stellar core surrounded by its debris field, which is huge. These objects are usually surrounded by a debris field. A large part of that debris field will be in the form of dust. So the stellar core in the above image was larger than the sun, but the ones in the Earth's atmosphere which are able to exert a strong enough gravitational force to pull Earth matter toward them are likely to be smaller than the Earth. Objects larger than the Earth will not be able to draw matter away from the Earth's surface, as the Earth will exert a stronger force on its own surface matter than they can. They will, however, be able to create large regions with unprecedented high and low tides and extreme earthquakes due to their electrical interaction with the Earth. And you may look at Article 445 entitled Can Planet X Cause Devastatingly Large Earthquakes on Earth? And here is an illustration of what occurs to the ocean when a large stellar core is above it. You create tidal bulges. They are actually in the form of a circle, but this is a cross section. In other words, a ring on the surface of the ocean. But you get regions of low density where you get the tidal bulge, and you get densities of regions of higher density where you get hollows and where you would then get an ocean recession event. This is why these objects create ocean recession events. They actually create a gravitational wave due to their gravitational influence on the Earth, on the matter on the surface of the Earth, both the atmosphere and the ocean. And on the surface of the ocean, it's very apparent what they create. It's these high and low tide regions. But they will do the same thing in the atmosphere. They create high density and low density regions. And therefore, they will create low pressures because a low pressure is associated with a low density. So these stellar cores in the Earth's atmosphere, they create low pressure regions, which then move as self-contained bubbles across the face of the Earth. A low pressure can be created over a hotter portion of the Earth's surface, which will cause air from elsewhere to flow into it in order to equalize the temperature and pressure. But it is illogical to expect a bubble of air at lower pressure than surrounding air to move within air, which is at a higher pressure, as in the absence of any barrier to keep the high and low pressure air apart, higher pressure air would flow in almost immediately to equalize the pressure. So this is illustrated here how a region that is hotter will create a region close to the surface, probably won't go all the way up through the atmosphere. It will be close to the surface where the hot surface heats up the air, and that causes a lower pressure over that region. But the heat will always tend to flow outwards towards the cooler regions, because heat always flows from hot to low temperature regions until it equalizes, it reaches equilibrium. And of course, cooler air at a higher density and therefore a higher pressure will flow into the region in order to equalize the pressure as well. So there will be an immediate mixing in of cooler air with the hotter air, and this will quickly equalize the pressure. Achieving a lower pressure than normal requires a lower density or a higher temperature within a sealed container. At constant temperature, a lower density can only be achieved by pumping air out of a sealed container. If a container is not sealed properly, no amount of pumping will result in a lower density or pressure than normal, as air will immediately flow through any hole to equalize the pressure. The same occurs with temperature. Heat tends to flow outwards toward the environment, and colder air will tend to enter and mix with the cooler air until both temperature and air pressure equilibrium is achieved. So this means that a low pressure region will immediately disappear as air from the surrounding region will flow into it in order to equalize the density and therefore the pressure. Therefore, it is it's illogical to expect a region of low density, which is not divided from air around it in any way, there's no barrier to stop it, from remaining as a region of low pressure and moving across the surface of the Earth as a region of low pressure. It is absolutely illogical to expect that. The only way that a low pressure can be achieved and can move as an object or as a bubble of air through the air is if it is created by the gravitational influence of a stellar core inside the Earth's atmosphere. Because it creates the gravitational wave, it creates therefore a region of lower density. The lower density will affect all regions below the object, between the object and the surface of the Earth, and it will even include the surface of the Earth. It will create regions of high and low density on the surface of the Earth. That's why it causes the surface of the Earth to break up, because it contracts and expands as the high and low density parts of the wave pass through it. So it creates a region of low density, and that's how low pressures are created. Stellar cores create low pressures. It seems therefore that meteorologists have been lying about weather systems, and in particular about low pressure weather systems, for a very long time. Now, other low pressure systems are created, and what we have is water spouts and tornadoes over the ocean. You'll get a water spout. These will be created by small stellar cores, which reach a minimum altitude, and where then the wave that is created on the surface of the ocean, which is actually a gravitational wave, and it's a gravitational diffraction effect. The wave, the bulges that it creates, get so high that it connects to the object. So now there's a gravitational vortex connection between the object and the surface of the ocean, and it draws oceans through it. That's what a water spout is. But larger ones will not be able to do this. The force they exert on the surface of the Earth is not strong enough, so they will only be able to draw atmosphere. They will, however, create bulges that affect a larger area, and will then create tidal bulges, high tides, and that's basically what they call a storm vortex or a storm surge, which they associate with hurricanes. So basically this will create high winds, which are generated below the vortex, creating the effects of a hurricane. And there will be a tidal bulge there, but it will not be as high as it gets with the smaller stellar cores, which create water spouts. And for more details, you may look at Article 374 in part of the connection between hurricanes, water spouts, and comets. Because stellar cores come in as comets, so therefore they are comets. The small stellar cores, perhaps about 100 feet across create tornadoes and waterspouts, through which they draw material from the Earth's surface. Larger stellar cores create hurricanes and tidal effects, i.e. tidal bulges, which meteorologists deceptively refer to as storm surge, but are not able to draw material from the surface, only the atmosphere. Even larger stellar cores will create pronounced tidal effects, but very little in terms of storm vortex effects close to the surface. The fact that hurricanes have been experienced for a very long time suggests that these objects have been coming to Earth and entering the Earth's atmosphere for a very long time. However, it is only since the sun has stopped emitting light due to the loss of its corona that more and more of these objects have been arriving and have thus created weather chaos in the Earth's atmosphere. In addition, they are damaging in many other ways, and you may look at article 480 entitled "The Dark Sun, Planet X Now Entering Earth's Atmosphere in Large Numbers." For example, the larger ones are able to cause earthquakes, even cataclysmic earthquakes, affecting the whole surface of the Earth. And you may look at article 445 entitled "Planet X Causes Devastatingly Large Earthquakes on Earth." So in conclusion, moving low pressure weather systems can only be created by the gravitational influence of a massive body which has approached Earth from space. The objects that are therefore creating this weather phenomenon in the Earth's atmosphere are Planet X system stellar cores, which seem to be entering the Earth's atmosphere in increasing numbers. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.